Modern JavaScript for Angular and React developers. Modern JavaScript for my consideration, it is called ES6, ES7, ES8 kind of versions. Okay. So whatever you feel that is, you can call it as ES next also. I'll come to that. But JavaScript got changed a lot. JavaScript added a lot more features which are borrowed and begged from so many other programming languages. So many features are introduced into JavaScript from Python. Some are from Ruby, some are from Java also. So basically, JavaScript is completely filled with a lot of features. Okay. Earlier, JavaScript was a backbencher. So it used to attend the classes for 70% of the attendance, and their target is only pass marks. And after completion of the class, they'll go and sleep. They don't even play. Such a student was JavaScript. Slowly, JavaScript got attention. Okay. So all of a sudden, it became university first. So everyone started using JavaScript. Then JavaScript has to improve their skills, right? By 2016, sorry, 15, it improved its skills. Like it started coding, it started Ajax, it started so many new features. It started implementing regular object-oriented principles. All these things have been introduced in modern JavaScript. Okay, I mean introduced into JavaScript. So from there, we call it as, there is no official word called modern JavaScript. Okay, we call it as modern JavaScript, and it is necessary. For what we have to learn modern JavaScript features. Okay, so very simple answer: to improve the productivity. What do you mean by productivity? We are writing the code almost all 400 lines of code, 500 lines of code for a feature. Imagine modern JavaScript can reduce it to 100 lines. It's almost 1/4, 1/5. Sometimes it's 1/10 also. I try to show you how this modern JavaScript can do all those stuff, all those things. Let us see how much it will happen and how much we can really learn. Okay, that's my agenda today. So I would like to keep it so simple. First of all, you should get the curiosity of JavaScript importance. I mean, modern JavaScript importance. And then I'll go to the features. Leave about this PPT. Okay, just for satisfying YouTube, I just made that PPT, not for anybody. So here I am writing a JavaScript code in the body. See this. If I have two variables where A is equal to 100, where B is equal to 200, how do you swap these two numbers? Okay, the very traditional answer, that is, we'll take another variable and we'll say C is equal to A is equal to B, and B is equal to C. Whatever it may be. Will it happen? Right? So you follow this kind of approach, right? This is a regular practice. Or else you might have done, if you are too good with your exams, they might have asked you without using third variable. Okay, I know that also. A is equal to A plus B. B is equal to A minus B. A is equal to A minus B. This is also one of the way. So this is another way of doing, right? But our modern JavaScript simplified this entire process in one line. Very easy. Open bracket, close bracket, a comma b is equal to b comma a. Over. This is the swapping of two numbers. Here I would like to tell you the point. The point is, in the interview, they will ask you, how do you swap two numbers? Then don't pull your hero out of yourself by saying third variable, plus operator, minus operator. Their expectation is destructuring. Their expectation is not about your age-old principles. If you say that, you are okay. But their expectation is destructuring. Start that word from the point one itself. Sometimes I need to use Telugu for very strong impact. మీరు చెప్పేటప్పుడు ఫస్ట్ డైలాగ్లోనే ఇంపాక్ట్ క్రియేట్ చేసుకోండి, అంతేగాని ఎప్పుడో క్రియేట్ చేద్దామని చూడకండి. యూ క్రియేట్ దట్ ఇంపాక్ట్ ఆన్ ద వెరీ ఫస్ట్ వర్డ్. ఓన్లీ దెన్ యూ విల్ బి సెలెక్టెడ్. People want the new age solutions, not age old solutions. Of course, you want the latest phone, right? You don't purchase the old version phones. Okay. So this is modern JavaScript. This is how people are started doing it. Okay. Of course, in my PPT, I did not include those things. I would like to include it over here. Okay. Next, somebody write a function like this. You might be writing the function like this, right? So return a plus b. This is the function declaration. But now in modern JavaScript, we don't write functions like this. We write it like this. Const add is equal to open bracket, close bracket, a comma b, arrow, and even this is also not necessary, a plus b. This is modern way of writing the code. Of course, what is the purpose of constant? What is the purpose of all these things will be discussed, no doubt in it. But here, this is the way. This is one-liners. Are you really using this kind of arrow functions? Array 100%. For example, I have an array. AR is equal to 10, 38, 19, 56, 23. I want to filter out only the even numbers. How do you filter the only even numbers? Where BR is equal to AR dot filter of a function A if A modulus 2 is equal to 0. Of course, put the triple equal to 0. Return true. Else return false. This is a fundamentalist way of doing it. And then if you see what will be there in the BR, it will give you the output. One second. So here you can see 10, 38 and 56. What did you understand out of it? It filtered only the even numbers into B. But this is very old. You have to write it in a modern way. So you can remove this function keyword and put an arrow. This works the same. I'm saving it and immediately I'm able to see it. When you have only one parameter, you need not to use those parentheses. That will also work. And if you really, first of all, this if else should be minimized. So return directly a modulus 2 question mark true colon false. Okay. Not equal, one second, not equal, sorry, equal to 0. Okay. No, we will plan more. Okay. This is also stupidity. A modulus 2 gives you either 0 or 1. 0 is false. 1 is true. So I need not to return this also. Of course, here I got only the odd numbers. If you So if you have only one return statement, you can remove that also. So this is one-liner. This is what see, while they are giving you this, what is that? System test or machine test. You have to use this kind of things. Sir, maybe you are taking my words as very aggressive. Okay. Yeah. Depends upon the morning session. This aggression and all these things will be dependent. But the thing is, this is what is required. Don't treat yourself like an Amul baby. You have to use the complexity. Only then it happens. You have to bring out the complexity out of you. మీరు ఇంకా అమూల్ బేబీ లాగా నాకు నేను ఇప్పుడిప్పుడే నేర్చుకుంటున్నాను, ఇప్పుడిప్పుడే అడుగులేస్తున్నాను అంటే కుదరదు. బయట 4 సంవత్సరాల నుంచి వెయిట్ చేస్తున్న వాళ్ళు బోల్డంత మంది ఉన్నారు. So many people are waiting in the market. Freshers, for the last 2 years, there are no much jobs. కార్తీలే కర్వాలి ఎవర్రా మీరంతా అన్నట్టు ఒక్క చిన్న ఇంటర్వ్యూ పోతే తెలుస్తుంది. Hundreds of people are there. Out of them, how do you actually bring your resume to be on the top, or your candidature should be on the top? You have to prove in such a way that you are using it. You will get the system test, or you should get the machine test. So there you have to write these kind of things. Use the modern JavaScript for not only to improvise the productivity and performance, to impress the interviewer also use this, and start from there. If they ask you, can you explain this? Then start from there, the basics. Without this kind of modern way of writing, survival is not easy. I'm very clear about it. And they will be impressed only by this way. So start learning modern JavaScript. Okay, these are all very fundamentals. So today I planned something which are much more complex. Okay. Let us see how the things go. Yeah. So you have a question called, how do you declare a variable? So their expected answer, their matlab, interviewer expected answer is not where. Interviewer expected answer is let and const. Okay. I declare variables in let and const, which are alternates to where. Okay. So for just a word, let and const will avoid the duplication of the variable. Point number 1, they don't allow another variable to be declared. Block scope is another beautiful feature. What do we get it from the let and const? Okay. But const is very much used in many cases. For example, the question is, why most of the functions are defined in const? If you see any library or any project in Git or any good repositories who provide projects, they're all using const functions. Have you ever thought of it? Why they are using const in front of function instead of let or instead of where? Why they are defining them as constants? Yeah. Even if you heard about it, there is always a chance of forgetting it. I'll show you what will happen if I define function with normal var and let. Let's see. Suppose you have defined a function like this, and I can easily override this function. Var add is equal to 293, so that if I try to use console.log of add of 10, 20, it says it is not a function. Point number 1. Okay, this is overridden. But okay, normal way also you can do this. Some different definition will come. Okay. Now if I call add of 10, 20, which definition will be invoked? 10, 20 plus 100. This definition will be invoked. This is overridden. My dear friends, in the real time, in a team, there will be more than 10, 15, 200, 300 people will be there under one team, under one development team. Anybody may write any code. Most of the time, there is a possibility of using the same identifier, same names by two people. To avoid that, we need a mechanism. The new mechanism we are following is let add is equal to function. Suppose if somebody also declared let add is also equal to function, then at the compilation time itself, that means before execution, before sending it to production, at the compilation time itself, you are able to find out the bug. That is two functions defined by same name, with the same name. So this should be handled first. So whoever are defined this function, they will be called and they will be asked to change their respective names. So somebody will use add 1 and somebody will use add 2. This is also good, right? This is good, right? But unfortunately, you are getting error. So what do? You will remove the let and you will check out. This will be fine. This will not be identified by compiler at compile time. మనం ఏం చేస్తాం, మనకి ఎర్రర్ వచ్చిందనుకో ఆ సెమీకోలన్ తీసేసి ఇప్పుడు వస్తలేదు సార్ ఎర్రర్. So we do a different ball game, right? And of course, this is not the right way of defining it. But to fix it, we push it and we'll pray for the God. God. No error should come in the testing. This is the regular process done by everyone. Even I did. I am not an exception out of it. Yes, of course, I need to complete the work, right? So I may push any code. But ultimately, who will get the bang? Delivery manager. No. Till you reach to the manager position, you are safe. Enjoy the time. Don't feel I am overloaded. हिंदी में बोलना है तो सही से बोल सकता हूं मैं. कुछ नहीं कर रहे हो. You are not doing anything. You are just having some requirement. There is no big responsibility. But the way they thrash managers is a different level. Okay. I have never been to manager. Okay. So how to solve this problem? Yes, the answer is const. So that once you declare an identifier as const, you cannot reassign. It will become read only. I am not saying mutability and immutability or changeability. I am saying that reassignment. Other than the reassignment, you can't define a function. So here it's very clear that if somebody defined a function with const, even if somebody tries to redefine it, it will say that at compile time itself. It will not go up to production. So this is the beauty of const. That is why everyone is writing the function names with const. This is a question you are going to face in the interview. Right. So like this, modern JavaScript at the very beginning time itself, it has given a lot of features. First of all, enjoy those features. I know let and cost. This is not university exam. And you are not writing for 16 marks. You are writing for coding. You are writing for usage. You are writing for application. You have to learn its behavior. So yes, these are the basic small things of ES6. Okay. How do you use declaration? How do you use functions? But apart from that, there are bigger things. There are KGF2, there is Salar, there is animal in it. Okay, let us see those animals also. Right? ES6, modern JavaScript animals. Are you ready? Chalo. So here, ES6, var, let and const, string concatenation, and template literals. So, see, sir, even yesterday I saw that reel. Manager manager received your resume as expert in SQL. But when they give you the system test, in the Google, you are searching how to write select query. This is what happens, okay? I have seen it. So many people, so many cases. So still we are using so many conventional procedures. How do you concatenate two numbers? Two strings. Then you will use plus operator. But I just want to show you something like if I have where A is equal to 100, where B is equal to 200, and I want to print something like the addition of A value, that is 100, and B value 200 is 300. So I want to put the A value. If you give plus PROMPT prompt, it will give you another, proper way. A can be anything. You can't decide 100 or 200. Then how do you write it? We are writing console.log of the addition of, I need the value of A. So you'll put plus and A. After that, you need and plus B plus is plus A plus B. So I am giving 1937, 2001. So I got the output as the addition of 1937 and 2001 is 3938. But you need not to write this much of code. It is so simple nowadays. That is console.log of use the template strings by using backtick character. So here direct, you don't need to concatenate with plus. You have a freedom of writing the addition of, I want A value. So put a dollar and use A, and you want B value, put a dollar and use B, is put a dollar A plus B. So thank you. So the addition of 100 and 200 is 300. This is much more declarative, much more simple, much more straightforward, and very powerful. How much powerful? Here you can have any expression. You can call a function. You can use a method. Anything. So this template string, this particular open bracket and close bracket is template strings in ES6. This is modern way of using it. So all of you should use this kind of, okay, fine. Why, sir? They give you this question only, I'm sure. And as you are not so confident on template strings, what do? You will go with string concatenation. There the problem comes. In real time, in Angular or React, most of the time we have to use custom URLs. Okay. So when I click on one link, I mean, I need to generate links with a different text. Same link, different text. So there extensively we are using this kind of rotate. We need to go for more of template strings. We need to add parameters. We need to concatenate parameters. So all those things we need template strings. Okay. So what do you use is more important than anything, right? Oh, prototypes and classes. So you must have heard about this word. JavaScript is functional programming language. Yes, JavaScript follows functional, but world runs on object-oriented practices. So yes, there is always a fight between leftists and rightists. I don't know what is that, but I just used it. Okay, and don't go in depth. I'm not into it. Okay, so there is always rift between some two different concepts. Am I right? So the same way, this functional and object oriented both are always fighting with each other. But believe me, object oriented ruled almost all 40 years, maybe 30-40 years. It ruled properly. It will run fine even after 10-15 years, even from here 5 or 10 more years. But there is a problem with the object oriented principles, that is, it is not so testable. It is having its own way of testing. I mean, test driven development, but testability means, see, you have AC. Is it tested or just from directly from the, it is tested, right? What will they test? What do you mean by working properly? Okay, even if it is having high temperatures, will it work or not? What is the highest temperature it will carry? And what is the highest voltage it will go with? What is the least voltage it will go with? How many hours it will work continuously? These all things will be tested, right? So testing is important. Yes, object-oriented languages are testable, but functional are more easy to test. Functional mechanism is more easy to test. They are working on, I mean, most of the technologies are working on that. Most of the technologies. For example, Angular started with TypeScript, which is object oriented, but slowly it is moving towards functional. In pure JavaScript way, even React started with classes, class components. There were no functional components. Slowly, React, not slowly, now it is completely functional. There is no word called class. So this is not a ego problem between Facebook and Google. Okay, it is about production problem. So if you go purely with JavaScript, that means it becomes more of functional. So when it is functional, obviously you will have more possibility of testing. It is easy to test. The applications are easy to test. Okay. Okay. That is what something is going behind Svelte. There are so many languages actually going with functional now. Okay. Even Python is more of functional. And most of your applications are now smart or artificially intelligent. And for artificial intelligence, your oops is oops. Okay. So there you should have a functional language. So world is slowly again turning to functional. Yes, we started with functional language and again we are going back to functional. Maybe we see bell bottom pants also in the future. The same. Okay. Yes. We are going to see that. Okay. Right. Chalo. So here my point is JavaScript is now, of course, class based. It is now having classes, but we are not completely using it. Okay. Earlier we were having prototypes. Okay. Now we are not using both. There is a different ball game. Okay. Don't worry about it. Leave it. Okay. Sir, always try something different. Okay. It will win test matches. Oliver Pope or Olivia Pope, somebody who played Ashwin very well. All of a sudden, Ashwin went to defense. Actually, Ashwin is the hero for every match. He will take lot of wickets. But if you try something different, definitely in the beginning it may not work properly, but somewhere it will work. Okay, why I am telling you is ES6 JavaScript tried to go against Java. They don't want to follow the principles of Java. They tried everything differently. Very nice. One of the thing is this scope binding, all these things. Instead of going with class, that's just keyword, they introduced call, apply, bind, prototype, proto, underscore, proto, underscore, what do you say, scope binding, closure, block scope binding, global scope binding. They did everything to avoid class. And in 2015, it was a big joke. Class. We are now using class, JavaScript. So we found out why did we learn all these days? when there is class keyword, you can avoid so many things like call, apply, bind, all these things. But yes, happened. But I need a different day for this prototype and class. I will conduct one more session because this is not much in interviews. If it is needed, yes, of course, I'll conduct object orientation in functional way. Okay. Again, that is also object orientation, but without using class. It is like googly. Okay. Chalo. Now is the point. Here is the point. This is what I want to discuss. In the old way, we were using XML HTTP request, and now we are using fetch. So yesterday, I think if that person is here in this meeting, I glad if he raise the hand. Meeting lo unnara aithe meer cheppandi. Aina he learned some fundamental JavaScript from our channel, and he started attending the interviews also. But something he is missing. Missing in the sense, some of the questions he is unable to handle or answer. One of those question is, how did you make API calls? Yes, in our channel we have API calls with Axios. There is a video. He said about Axios, but the interviewer's expectation is different. Not fetch. Interviewer looking for how many different ways actually we can make a API call. Sir, I have done with XML HTTP request object. I have done with fetch. I have done with Axios. I have done with jQuery. I did with RxJS. You are supposed to say that. भाई मुझे माफ करो, आई अंडरस्टूड कि आपको सब कुछ आता है, तब तक बोलते रहना. ఏమనాలంటే, బాబు నాకు అర్థమైంది, నీకు ఎక్సియోస్ బాగా వచ్చు, నీకు ఏపీఐ కాల్స్ వచ్చు, నువ్వు ఇంకా ఆపే బాబు అనేదాకా చెప్తూనే ఉండాలి. పొరపాటున మన కౌంట్రీలో మన కమాండ్ జోన్ లో కనుక పొరపాటున క్వశ్చన్ పడింది అనుకో, అటు సావే. యూ హ్యావ్ టు అంతేగాని you should not be so satisfied. I know fetch method, I will do with everything. ఇట్లా సాటిస్ఫై అయితే మీరు కంపెనీకి పనికిరారు. Because client, interviewer don't look even for you or management. Interviewer look for client. Client should be happy, and client is a mad fellow always. Today he will ask us to implement in Axios. Tomorrow he listen in the TV that there is another alternate for Axios. It may be very good. Then he will come and discuss. Oh, no, I want it from jQuery. अरे यार jQuery मार के बहुत दिन हो गया. नहीं jQuery. So you should have, I mean, people are expecting these alternates. People are expecting how many different ways you know. And only then interviewer will have a confidence on you. You will do, you will learn if something new comes. లేదు నేను ఇలాగే ఉంటాను అంటే, if you keep on saying the same thing, they will say that he's a regular guy. Okay, so you should have all these things, and then you should start. What is the difference between? Then they will ask you what is the difference between XML HTTP request, fetch, Axios. Then this all things comes, and it is very important to learn latest, but it is also important to learn why not old. What is that oldness? Okay, we are glad. I am glad. I'm very lucky, because I know JavaScript where there was no Axios at all. There was no XML HTTP request object at all. There was no that. No, there is no Ajax call. It was pure DOM manipulated thing. From there, I started learning XML HTTP request object. I worked for 2 years. Then I found a beautiful library called jQuery. Then I found a beautiful library called Q. Then I found a beautiful library called Fetch. Then I found another beautiful library called Axios. Then I found another beautiful library called RxJS. So this is my journey. And you have to learn all this journey in one day. This is truth. It's fixed. You have to. Okay? Be ready. So the unfortunate thing is I had to learn by my own, but you have opportunity to learn in the YouTube or my classes or any channel. There are so many alternatives. Okay, fine guys. So fundamentally, what is the difference between XML HTTP request object and fetch? Both are used for API calls. Okay. I don't want to use that word called asynchronous. I'm coming to that point, promises. No, asynchronous. Both are used for API calls. But how XML HTTP request object is different from fetch? Fetch is promise based. XML HTTP request is event based. I'm not asking the difference between asynchronous and synchronous. I'm asking the difference between XML HTTP request and fetch. So I will show you what exactly happens in XML HTTP request, because there is a link to RxJS for Angular people. From your XML HTTP request, there is a link to RxJS. Don't just waste, just leave that XML HTTP request. There is a very good link that is event based. This is event based. What do you mean by event based? This is promise based. Brahmanandan cheptadu kada, promise. Yes, it is promise based. I am coming to that. This is XML HTTP request object is event based. So let us make a request in I have something called rest countries. So if you send a request to this API, it will give you the information or about all the countries. It will give you the details of all countries. So for that, I need to make a request. Yeah, still using companies. Yes. Of course, yes, Sai Kiran. Fetch, okay. Sending request. First of all, we have to create an object for XML HTTP request. And then you have to create an open request HTTP dot open of the URL. But I think that is the second argument. Get. First argument is the method and second argument is the URL. Then this only prepares. It will not send any request. You have to understand it completely. There is no request sent. This is only the page request. There is no API request sent from your page. So open will not send the request. So you have to write http dot send this request. Now you can see there is a request went to the API and we got the response also. Okay. Now I would like to make this request as a okay, 1 second. Okay. What I want to show you here is if I make this particular third argument of open method as 0, then the request becomes synchronous. So that once the send method send the request to the server, this line will wait till the response comes. And once the response comes from the server, it will update to HTTP object. So now if I see what is there in the HTTP object under response property, you will have all the country details in the object. Because it will block the code. Don't say only the line by line. Somebody answered me very nicely. That is Sai Kiran answered that line by line. Sai Kiran, sorry. Chandu answered something like line by line. Line by line is good. But we need to give a very better answer than that. That is, synchronous programming will block the following line of code until and unless that line completes its execution. This HTTP dot send becomes synchronous. If I make it as 0, so it will stop executing once only it receives the complete response from the server. I mean, complete data. Only then it will allow the next line. So what it is doing there? It is blocking a word. A word important. What is the difference between synchronous and asynchronous? Means line by line, not line by line. You have to see this is blocking and this is non-blocking. Word. That word is more important. Okay. So this blocks the following code and then once we get the response, we are printing it. Suppose if I make the send method as asynchronous, if I make send method as asynchronous, then it will not block. It will allow the next piece of lines to execute. Then you don't get the response. I mean, you don't, if it is executed before the response comes, this response property don't have any data. Then how do you handle it? That means how do you get, if I make it as asynchronous, how do you actually execute this HTTP response code? How do you get it? Okay, there is an option. The option is set timeout of function, comma, 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, I'll print response. After 10 seconds, right? But response might have come very early. ఇప్పుడు నేనేమంటున్నా 10 సెకండ్స్ తర్వాత నేను ప్రింట్ చేసి చూస్తా. అప్పుడుకి వచ్చేస్తే ప్రింట్ రాకపోతే, if it comes by the time, if the data arrived, then it will be stored in the response and I can be used. If it is not arrived, then I have to use set interval. No, don't use this nonsense. Set interval will continuously execute, na? What is the solution? So for example, I don't know when my father comes to... Acha. I don't know when a student comes there. For every 5 seconds, I can't go there and see. For every 5 minutes, I can't go there and see. What do? I kept a bell. If anybody comes, they ring the bell and then I will open the door. Try to understand, if guests are coming to your home, do you open your door for the whole day, whole night? Or else for every 5 minutes, you'll open the door and see and you close it. ऐसे करोगे? Then you keep a what? Alarm. Okay, you keep a calling bell, right? What does this calling bell doing? It tries an event. I want that word. What does it do? It clear timeout if data arrived. Yeah, okay, fine. Prakash, that is what we are trying to avoid those all nonsense. There is a beautiful mechanism called event. So as soon as the data arrives from the server, browser fires a event. Data vachindi ani. Okay. So if no, that is important. That is very, very important. So the browser fires the event. So that event handlers and listeners are available in this object. So what do I do is, if it is asynchronous, I don't use this set timeout. I'll write a function http.onLoad end is equal to a function. So this function will be called, once the whole data comes. So here I will write console.log of http.response. I need not to I need not to wait, or I need not to put an interval like 10 seconds, 1 second, 2 seconds, set interval. All these things are not necessary, right? This kind of event handling is used, but this is also complex. We need, see, 1 second. First of all, have you understood the asynchronous nature? Here, if you keep one or if you don't keep anything, this send method will become Chepandi. No. If you keep zero, if you keep a zero, sorry, not here, it will become blocking. If you don't keep anything, it will become non-blocking asynchronous. Very simple. So if it is asynchronous, http.send is asynchronous, this line will not wait. It will be executed. And this function is binded. This event handler is binded to this event listener. And it is ready. As soon as browser fires onload end event, this HTTP object listen to that event and it will call this function. Of course, browser ultimately keep that very nice thing. I'll tell you. I had a problem in the past. What was the problem is we were in Pune. We were in a society called Whistling Palms. So in that society, we had lot of milk vendors. So there was a competition between one milk vendor and another milk vendor. So I am taking from Raj Market. They are coming from Chowdhury Milk Dairy. So what happened, those milk packets were missing. What we think? Raj Market fellow did not deliver the milk. Point is clear? Okay. So now how do I guarantee that Raj Market fellow actually delivered the milk, but that Chowdhury Dairy Wala stole that entire those milk packets and he is delivering his own. చూసి ఎంత డేంజర్ ఉందో చూసారా? From then there were so many changes happened. Actually this happened, we caught that fellow. But how do you really guarantee? So as soon as they drop the milk, they will ring the bell. If the bell rings, that means they dropped it. But Raj Market fellow is not Gandhian. Some days he is ringing the bell but not dropping the packet. वाह वाह मोदी जी वाह, हाँ क्या बात है. He's ringing bell sincerely. We thought that he dropped it, but it didn't happen. So then every day what we have to do? No, once the bell rings, I have to open the door and I have to see, and I close the door and I'll sleep. No, I'll bring the packet also. Wait. Wait. Okay. So finally, that event actually triggered me, because otherwise, every day in the morning, 5 o'clock, what I should do? I had to open the door and I had to keep on waiting for that fellow to drop the packet. Try to understand the importance of event. Every day, I have to keep the door open. If I get into sleep, they directly go to my bedroom and they will steal my money also. Who knows? Yes. So I tried my best to give you the example for event, so that who is ringing the bell here? Browser. I want that word so clearly. Who knows ultimately whether the data received or not? బ్రౌజర్ కే కదా, బ్రౌజర్ కే తెలుస్తుంది కదా డేటా వచ్చిందా రాలేదని. సో బ్రౌజర్ టింగ్ ద బెల్, బ్రౌజర్ రైజ్ ద ఈవెంట్, డేటా అరైవ్డ్ అని. Then This listener already we prepared that listener, right? Yeah, that listener is listen to that event and it will pick up. Okay. So now I would like to showcase the alternate to this. We need not to depend like this. We have a solution. The solution is fetch. But fetch follows promises. Because this fetch method is an asynchronous method, it will be non-blocking. So whatever the response comes, that response I want to handle it inside this then. So this fetch function will block this. Fetch function will block then, but not the following lines. So then will not be executed as soon as fetch makes the call. Then will be keep on waiting for the data comes. You don't need to maintain the event listener, event handler, all these things of hard work is not needed. 1 minute. Online people, am I audible? Prakash? Akhila? Yeah. Thank you. So this then method is blocked. I mean, the then method. So this then method is like a promise. Wait a minute. Is like a promise. This fetch method is like Brahmananda. Promise? Yeah. So it is asking promise from then method as bye, don't worry. I will be there. Okay. I don't complete my execution. Once you give me the data, only then I will complete the execution. Chinta mat karo. Don't worry. I will be there. This who is giving the promise? कौन है वो promise fellow? Then okay, behind the scene promise object, all these things are different. First of all, as a simplest mechanism, who is promising whom? Fetch that I will wait. बाकी सब लोग चले जाने से कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. अंदर వెళ్ళిపోయినా కూడా ప్రాబ్లం లేదు. If everyone leaves, there is no problem. I'm there, no? I'm there for you. Huh? You connected to this, huh? Acha. Okay. So that this then is promising the fetch. So whatever you write inside the then చూడండి, I will come only once the data arrives. Till that time, it will be waiting. So if you really want to see whether it works or not, I can go for disable catchy and slow 3G and go to now you see. What did you understand out of this? That part executed after getting the data. So then is waiting. Okay. Whenever Pune call loading, I am waiting. Okay. So once it is loaded, then I will be executed. So this is what the then promises to fetch. This is how you should start thinking about the fetch. This is how you should start thinking about the then. Of course, there is a catch also. Now we are not worrying about it. Leave it. I am anyways coming to that point. So this is the difference. What is the difference between XML HTTP request and fetch? Okay. You should say both are asynchronous, but fetch follows promises. XML HTTP follows event handling. Then again, there is a question, what is the difference between fetch and Axios? Fetch function will take the data as a readable stream. I'll show you. In the RES, whatever the response, whatever the data is, that comes in the body as readable stream. So you have to convert this readable stream into JSON, so that again, that is also asynchronous. That will give the response in final data will come over here. Now finally, then inside, then of course, okay, I can read. Now finally, I have the country's data. The beauty of the then is, if you return a promise from here, I can take this then wait a minute. Return res.json. So this, if this then is returning another promise, then that will be handled as a bundle in the next line. If you are comfortable, use like this. So this is the two-step process. This is the two-step process. So Axios will reduce to one step. You are supposed to say that word Axios will reduce in one step. You need not to write two thens. That is a fundamental difference between fetch and Axios. Okay. You have to say differently. ఎట్లా చెప్తావు ఇంకా Axios కి fetch కి difference ఏంటి అని అంటే Axios will directly give you the data, but fetch gives you the readable stream. That is readable stream. So that readable stream again should use the JSON method to pick up the data from it. Again, that is also returns a promise. So I had to finally take the data in second then. So there is two-step mechanism, but Axios not so many times like this, only once. That's the beauty of it, right? కానీ ప్రామిస్ డెఫినేషన్ అంత ఫసక్ లా చెప్పారు. ఫసక్ అయితే డైరెక్ట్ చెప్తారు మీరు. వెరీ నైస్, వెరీ గుడ్. ఓకే, సో యూ ప్లీజ్ యూజ్ దీస్ వర్డ్స్ సో ఈజీలీ. అండర్స్టూడ్? This is how you have to immerse into the subject. Of course, that's what my point is. And finally, if you really want to understand the promises, don't read only about the promises. Now just follow me and then try to understand the scenario. Okay. Okay. So in old days, if you pass something, I mean, if you complete a semester or something, we guys used to have a tea party, cool drink party, egg puff party. These kind of things were there. Now there is no such culture, direct. Whether you passed or failed only. Anyways, that means traditions changed. Wait, I'm just giving you a breather. Simple point, simple points. Inka? In those days, marriage means there is a procedure. Now marriage means catering. Everything, ding, ding, ding. I don't know anything about marriage. You conduct everything. We'll just wear clothes and come. Ensured. Okay. Remaining things and what kind of clothes we have to wear. Those all also they should tell. Where are the clothes? What kind of clothes? What is haldi? All these things they will be making. There is a lot of change, right? Okay. Fine. In old days, the breakfast is directly rice with peru. And if you cry a lot, you will get one chekodi or else one jantika. That means one namkeen. That's it. Chupchap खा के चले जाओ. No idli bodli. After that, sometime idli dosa were ruled. Now, now kids are not eating. Stop it. We are ready to prepare. They need bread. Okay, fine, guys. I tried my best to tell you that there is a lot of change. Okay, in those days, 90s, I got connected to 90s. In those days, if exam papers were given, kids used to feel so panic. Now parents are becoming panic because they have to attend the parent teacher meeting. Papa, there is a small meeting in the school. Acha, क्यों बेटा? What happened? नहीं, there is a small meeting between you, me and principal. Wow. अच्छा, कुछ तो कांड की करके आए हो आप. हाँ, चलो आ जाओ, वहां पता चलेगा. Neither you can beat them, neither you can scold them, and you have to ultimately listen all the scolding from principal. You, not that. No way. ఇది పరిస్థితి. Okay, right. Okay, relax. So, బాలేదు అది పద్ధతి, చంపేద్దాం దీన్ని. So now there is a point. Okay, no, listen to me. In the older days, this biryani and all used to come in the leaf, some banana leaf or something like that. Now, packet, right? They are not giving directly. They will come, if you order biryani from Paradise, they will come with a big deksha and they will knock the door and they will ask, bring your plate and one piece and this much. Get out. ఇది కాదుగా జరిగేది. They will put in a packet and they will deliver to you. Guys, thank you for listening all the stupidity. Things are getting changed. There are so many things have been changed. Now you are expecting, if biryani gives you a wrong side effect, then you should not get what you say, hurted. They will give you the digestion tablet also. They are coming with that. In case something went wrong, eat it. So you like that house, biryani house or not? You like it. Otherwise, if it didn't happen, you had to go till medical shop. So you love that biryani house and you start using it. So whoever provides you more features is the latest trend. Yes or no? The same way, while you are writing the functions, stop writing functions in a regular way. You need to start thinking about error handling also. That is what called modern JavaScript. We have provisions for error handling. Promises are there, but to understand the promises, you need lot of journey. It is not one dimensional thing. In modern JavaScript, you need to handle errors also. If the function fails, how do you handle it? You need a mechanism. You can't write everything try and catch. You have to know what is the error handling mechanism is. Hello, right? For example, you are trying to divide two numbers. So generalized function definition for division of two numbers is like this. This is okay. This is understandable. But what happens if I give 0, 2? Achha? Yes, it is 0. What happens if it is 12, 0? It is an error. In fact, it is infinity. You will get the word called infinity. There is so, but what do you mean by infinity? This should be handled properly. If I am giving a wrong input, it should not go for infinity. It should give me the input is wrong. That is what called error handling. Normal functions are not having error handling mechanism at all. When functions were defined, they never thought of one day we have to handle the errors also. That they never thought. Normal functions are only for taking the input and dispatching. Now we have to seriously thought about the error handling. I'm not only telling you here, even for everything, if you have a bar, you have to think about error handling. What is the error handling? If anybody do nonsense, you should have a bouncers. Master, నేను చెప్పే అన్ని కరెక్టే. Whenever you plan only with success, things may ruin. అంటే ఓన్లీ సక్సెస్ తోటే నువ్వు ప్లాన్ చేసుకున్నావు అనుకో, చాలా బ్యాడ్ అవుతుంది. యూ హ్యావ్ టు ప్లాన్ ఫర్ బ్యాకప్. You have to plan for error handling also. So nowadays, if you define a function, you should also define the error handling mechanism of the function. Earlier, we used to define in callback mechanism. That means we used to write it like this. We had to send the callback also. In the definition itself, we should have a provision for callback. So here you should have if b is equal to 0, cb of denominator cannot be 0. Should do, did do, else return a by b. So now the function call also changes. So you have to define like this. What is the difference between previous definition and this definition? This definition is coming along with the error handling. So you have to call console.log of no. Sorry. Okay, 1 second. Not return. It is cb. చెప్తాను కంగారు. It is cb of a by b. So here I will call the function and I'll pass the values, and I should also pass the callback function to handle the response. Okay, so whatever the response we get, I will print that. So the answer will be 2.5. Suppose if I give 10 by 0, it will give you not infinity. It will say denominator cannot be 0. This is the proper way of handling the response. And you should be more finer. You should be more proper. That is, if you have an error, you pass it as a first argument and the second argument should be null. If you don't have an error, then pass that error as a null and second argument will be result. So always in the callback, we'll have first argument as error, second argument as result. So here also, you have to define the callback in a such a way that error comma result. Okay, so here I will say if error console.log of error else console.log of res. So this is a common function for everyone. This is what you are supposed to write. Same answer, but it is more impactful. It is more responsive. ఇది ఇంకా రెస్పాన్సివ్ ఉంది. నువ్వు ఇట్లా రాయాలి ఫంక్షన్. ఇంతకుముందు రాసినట్టు ఫంక్షన్. Deloitte is one company. They will ask you, write a function to divide two numbers. చాలా కాన్ఫిడెంట్ గా ఫంక్షన్ div a, b రిటర్న్ a by v అని రాస్తారు కదా, అటు రాయకూడదు. You should never do that. How should you do this? Along with error handling. If you write it like this, they will say, no, Devud Swami. And we are looking people like this. నేను మిమ్మల్ని ఎక్కడికో తీసుకెళ్ళాలనుకుంటాను, మీరు అక్కడికి రారు, ఇక్కడనే ఉంటారు. You are not coming to that level of, we need that level of coding. ఇప్పుడు కోడింగ్ రాయడం ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి వస్తుంది నాన్న, విత్ బెస్ట్ ప్రాక్టీసెస్ మనకు కావాలి. సో యూ హ్యావ్ టు రైట్ ఇట్. ఓకే, నాట్ ఓవర్. Finally, my answer. That is, this is also very old. Nowadays, we have understood in a different way. That is, instead of callback functions, we followed a new mechanism called promises. JavaScript, modern JavaScript is giving us promise object. With that, if you have an error, you return promise.reject of so and so. I'll tell you. If it is successful, you will return promise.resolve. And handling is also now more clearer. We are not writing the whole handling function result handler in the call itself. ఇప్పుడు ఏం జరుగుతుంది, కాల్ లోపలే ఫంక్షన్ కూడా ఇస్తున్నాం, and we are calling it as callback function. Don't use like this. Make your call as it is. After that, apply then and catch. This whole then is for success response, and this whole catch is for failure response. Now you have to define every function in this way, not that age-old written way. You have to write it in this way because it is more error handler. If it is more efficient, even if you get an error, it will not break the whole program. That means you have coding sense. So now here inside the then, I will write a function. Inside a catch, I will write a function, and here the response and the console.log of res. Here, if you get any error, console.log of error. So I am not wasting, or I am not writing too many things. I don't need if else, all these things. If success, I have a separate piece of, then if failure, I have separate piece of. It is more clear. So now happily the same answer. Yes or no? The same, you get this way. It's more appropriate. This is how we are writing the code. Okay. So even I want to discuss much better scenario that is called async await. Not today. So over this also, there is another layer of writing the code with exception handling, with async await, with the object oriented principles, with the call apply bind. These are all another plateau. It is not the same stage, but at least if you are able to write it like this, that is good enough. And in our training, we are giving in all the dimensions, not only this way. For example, functions, pure functions. In that, we discussed about callback functions, we discussed about first class functions, we discussed about map, reduce, filter, These all different ways. We worked on array of objects, we worked on filtering, we worked on accumulation, we worked on so many examples. So if you really want, you come and join us. I would like to take your class, but you need extensive and exhaustive working on these kind of principles and practices. Whatever I want to cover, maybe in the next week or some other time, I definitely would like to discuss with you about other features. But promises, how do we use the promises? How do we define the functions? What is the difference between asynchronous functions and synchronous function? What is blocking and non-blocking? And how modern ECMAScript is changing the vision of writing the code. Okay. Yes. So in the future, I will conduct more sessions on this, and any personal training is required, contact us. Yes. Now you guys can speak. Yes. I just opened up your mic. Please, if you anybody want to say, ask something, you can. Rao garu cheppandi. I can't hear you. So I will keep this video, complete video online. If you have any more topics required, you can put those topics in the comment section, and I will conduct those topics in the next week or coming weeks. Okay. If any personal interactions, you can ping me on WhatsApp, and I would like to answer you all those things. Okay. Chalo, thanks for attending, and please write a good review on WhatsApp. Yeah, Prasad Garu, observables. Next time I'll definitely conduct that session, observable session, promises and observables. Very soon. I mean, mostly next possible week only, because personally you asked us. So definitely I try on observables, RxJS observables. That pattern, entire pattern, I will conduct it. Surely. Okay, Andy. Thank you. And write a good review on Google about this workshop. I would be very pleased. Thank you so much. Thank you. Somebody from Tamil, I don't understand Tamil. Thank you. Good day. Good day.